Emma, tell us about your experience. So you've worked across, consumer goods for 20 years, right? Europe, Africa, Tesco, Diageo, and then you led the growth of Innocent in Scandinavia and Graze in the UK, right? So you have an incredible CV to bring to this beautiful brand and product.
Yeah, I think my last role was MD of Graze and the retail arm. So my job was to bring, Graze into retail, which was just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. And I think it was a phenomenal success, right? So it was absolute go, go, go. I used to say it was like, launching a startup with rocket fuel. 0 to 50 million retail sales in 3 years, brought in about a team of 40. Absolutely amazing experience. I think for me personally, for my growth, I learned a huge amount about DTC business and how to bring best practice from DTC into retail. Okay. And ultimately how to juggle an omni-channel business and how, you can cross-pollinate and use your marketing prowess across channels. So absolutely brilliant.
And for any of our listeners around the world who don't know what Graze is, because I think that's probably important to say, can you just describe the Graze brand really quickly?
Yeah, so
the Graze range.
Just over 10 years ago, Graze were complete pioneers in the DTC business. So direct to consumer, they delivered snacks through the post. No one had ever done it before. No one really had bought into monthly subscriptions. Absolutely phenomenal business. And by the time I joined, there were 7 million people on the database. That's how good it was in the UK, distributed to every single postcode. So an absolutely amazing brand. And obviously in the health and wellbeing space, producing wonderful snacks. An amazing brand to bring into the retail environment when people were desperately looking to snack on healthier food.
And they're little boxes of nuts and chocolate chips or raisins, and then also savoury versions as well, right, in lovely cardboard packaging.
Yeah, and just to set some context, there's sort of 120 SKUs online, but we only brought 12 into retail. But even then, launching a retail brand with 12 SKUs across the sweet and savoury range was huge, absolutely massive. So it became the UK's number one healthy snack within 18 months of launch.
And the reason I just wanted to draw that, to bring alive that example is because it's that D2C and retail omni-channel experience that you've been able to use then coming into to Lucky Saint as MD, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll come on to talk about it with the growth of the business over the last...
So tell us about that. So you came in, where was the business, and then what did you do? What were the first things that you did when you came in?
Yeah, so I joined in February and the business was on absolute high. So we diversified in format, so launched into keg in January, no other No&low on keg, and in 50 venues in London. And the team sold what they thought would have been 3 months stock in 3 weeks. It absolutely flew. So to answer the question of, do people want an alcohol-free pint of lager? Yes, they definitely do. February revenues were equaled despite it being a short month, despite it not being dry January. So a brilliant time to join. And actually, beginning of March, we were having a board meeting talking about the Fast or Faster plan. And then obviously everyone knows the story. Every day of mid-March felt like a year. And lockdown came. 70% of our volume at the time was in the on-trade. And that just,
oh my goodness,
dried up, as it were, overnight. So yeah, a very intense couple of days.
How did you feel having just, joined a new business that was very much reliant on trade and out of home sales? And you're thinking to yourself, oh my good God, right?
Actually, I felt elated.
Did you?
Yeah, I just love a challenge. And I just thought this is such an amazing opportunity. I know what startups can do. Be agile, go fast. Luke and I had a very long day together looking at the P&L, stripped out 65% of the cost, bought everything we could in-house. And we had a very clear plan. We needed to protect the brand, protect our people, and protect the P&L, which was distribution effectively. So, very quickly realised that this is going to go to direct to consumer very, very quickly, as it did. So we just pivoted hard. And there were 3 elements of our plan. Go fast, which we did. So we immediately pivoted marketing spend into online, into Amazon, into Shopify, our own website. Go flat. And go flat to us was decentralizing decision making. So we had a very, very small team at the time. It was only 5 of us. Scrapped the 2020 objectives, and just had very short-term objectives for everyone. And we love the Jeff Bezos one-way, two-way door way of thinking. So if the decision was a two-way door, i.e. you could come back from it, we just said to the team, just go, make it happen. And obviously we tried to focus on the one-way door stuff, the big stuff. And then the final element was go up. And go up for us was all about retraining. So we very quickly realised we are not the world's expert, despite coming from Grays in DTC. So we had these amazing, what I used to call 30-minute power chats with some brilliant people in the industry. Literally get them on the phone and say, right, teach us how to be performance marketeers, go. And we get a lot out of good people in 30 minutes, as I'm sure you know, Fiona.
Yeah.
They were very, very generous. And not only did we really start to understand the metrics and the levers behind what we were doing online, but also retrain the team, right? We had 2 salespeople that were on trade through and through, train them into how to do grocery and how to go and, build trade in farm shops and all that kind of stuff. We did loads of training sessions on influencing, negotiating, sales, etc. So we really plowed a lot of effort into the team and upskilling ourselves. And then the second element of go up for us was doing it right. So we just realized we had this massive opportunity to really, think about the values of the business. And it's when we started our journey to becoming a B Corp, working with wonderful Tom at Greenheart, who's been amazing supporting us to do that. We became the first member of the British Beer and Pub Association, that are No&low. They haven't got any other members because they're obviously so taken with Luke's journey and the liquid, which has been amazing. We finally, thought, gosh, this liquid's amazing. We should probably start telling people about it. So we won the Imbibe No&low award for the best lager. So an amazing time. And obviously where we are now, the DTC business has absolutely flown. In lockdown number 1, very, very quickly, we became the second fastest selling lager on Amazon. So
wow.
The only thing that was bigger than us was a 24-pack of Foster's, which honestly was a shock to us as it was to anyone else.
Let's just focus in on that for a second. How did you do that?
Well, there's loads of tricks. I mean, I think probably Luke better to answer the DTC stuff, but there's loads of elements, right? It's we call it sort of microscopic growth. So you've got to change all sorts of things to make that happen, and
right.
the content and the quality of the material that's online and how you're targeting people and what you're saying. There's a huge amount of elements that make that happen.
It's not just one thing like, get your Amazon store right and then you can be, second after Foster's.
I wish.
Yeah, but I think it's really important because this is something that people out there listening don't necessarily understand, but they want to understand. And it's a slightly scary thing, isn't it? Because you start off on the learning curve thinking, Amazon, that's easy. Just get your product listed and get them to warehouse it. And then you do that, but nothing really happens. You don't get traction. So then you think, I'll just get my store right. And then that still doesn't happen. So what you're saying is, no, it's a million little things, is it?
It's a million little things. And then it's also I think the game changer is the cumulative effect.
Right.
It's all about whether your customer comes back and purchases again.
Yeah.
So you can drive the first purchase, but it's the second, third, fourth, fifth that ends up cumulatively getting your performance up.
Okay, so even if you do all those millions of little things from a marketing optimization point of view, if your product isn't getting repurchase, it won't make a difference. Well, it won't move the needle on the dial of Amazon.
I think, that's the big kind of success for us online.
Okay, really interesting. Really, really interesting. So you potentially could have, little frog, you could have had a really bad year in terms of sales, right? What were you forecasting to do, Emma? Not like in terms of exact numbers, but what would the year have looked like had you not pivoted? And what does the year look like now versus your original objectives?
Yeah, okay. So draft was decimated, right? With the on-trade closing down, but there was still a lot of there's still been many more sales coming through. So the pivot to an omni-channel business really happened for us in September, when we went from 130 Sainsbury's stores to 1,400.
Wow!
So across 4 different retailers. So that's been hugely helpful. Is having the grocery arm, which is an amazing awareness driver like nothing else. DTC's been phenomenal, as we've spoken about. And then obviously we had the wonderful unlocking over the summer. Stoptober was amazing for us in terms of the on-trade. We were the first alcohol-free brand to be launched nationally on draft, which has been just incredible. And obviously we're back in lockdown too.
So in terms of sales or revenue, are you doing better despite COVID and all the lockdowns? Are you doing better than you would have done anyway, had you not had to pivot and think about the business differently?
Yeah, it's a great question. We listen to Shalen a lot. He's our chairman. He's amazing. And he said he looks at 120 odd brands around the world. And he said there's literally a handful that are beating their pre-COVID budget. And we're in a good position. We're in a boat.
Okay, so I'll take that as it sounds like you're beating your pre-COVID budget, which is pretty amazing. Talk to us then about how do you, so obviously you're doing a lot of things right, okay? What do you think it is in terms of how the consumer experiences your product and how you, and not just your product, but your brand through all of the different touch points versus say, the big guys? How do you make sure that Lucky Saint is a different kind of brand for today's beer consumer, lager consumer, versus these big guys who've been around for a long time? Talk to us maybe a little bit about purpose.
So I think the interesting thing that we've learned is that nearly every single consumer in this category has been on a bit of a journey to find something that they like. They've had lots of poor experiences. Mm-hmm. But there's this thread that runs through everything that we do that just says we need to deliver over and above what people expect. So not just from an alcohol-free beer brand, but from any brand, full stop. So everything from obviously the bottle itself and the packaging on there, the quality of the liquid, the packaging your Amazon or Shopify order will arrive in.
I loved that, by the way. I have to say to anyone who is listening to this, the box that it comes in is absolutely gorgeous. When you open it up, I got such a surprise. And my kids have since repurposed the box for all sorts of houses and forts and filing systems. And you'll understand when you get it. But it's really worth ordering this so you can play with the box.
So yeah, it's just this kind of belief that the devil's in the detail, and everything needs to deliver all the way through the kind of consumer experience. The one thing I think we have to play to what the big brands can't do. So okay. They're doing an amazing job bringing lots of consumers into the category, big recruitment job, huge budgets. Their products are inherently it's always a range extension of an existing product. So inherently that feels like a less than proposition.
Yeah.
Because it's always the Heineken Zero or the Beck's Blue or there's always, so we play to the strength of being dedicated to doing one thing really, really well.
Okay.
We stand by that. And then we have to leverage the power of being, a founder-led brand and an independent business and a small team who are all super motivated around building a great brand and a great business.
So what's the team and the culture like at Lucky Saint? I mean, how many people are there now and what does it feel like working at Lucky Saint?
Shall I do that one?
Yeah.
Well, I think the vision is really important to discuss. It's to be the defining alcohol-free drinks brand in the world. And I think everything hangs underneath that. So there's definitely, as you've heard, like this uncompromising desire to be the best quality. So when we're looking at any question, is it category defining? Is that going to be the best that we can be? And it's quite a sort of left brain, right brain way of looking at things. With number one, we're really commercial. So really important that the whole team understands the P&L. They get full visibility. We're very, very open and, honest about what we're doing because we've got lots of entrepreneurs in the business that also want to learn and learn how to run a business. So whether that's investment decisions, and then the other part is to be generous. And hopefully that, we've spoken about a few things. We're very generous in the way we deal with our route to markets, deal with each other, how much effort that we put into training and personal development. Everyone in the business has got equity, which I also think, lends to
generous.
That is generous. And everyone feels really part of it, Some of the team, all of the team took salary sacrifice during the first lockdown. And that just goes to show how much people want this business to work. And I think the underlying of both of those elements is to be positive. And I know it's quite, it sounds quite trite, but we're a very can-do team. So one of the opportunities, we look at things like always feeding back with data, insight and action, and talking about the so what and the now what. Another element that we always talk about is the William Gibson quote, the future is already out there, it's just unevenly distributed. So because we're small and nimble and we've got an amazing team that are super bright and lovely people, we just want to be at the bleeding edge all the time. So looking for the latest trends, the latest data, like where are people moving to? Obviously, where's the ball on the pitch we talk about? There's a ball there, but where is it? Mm-hmm. And I think ultimately it does kind of feel like a family, which is lovely. We're a pretty social bunch. At the moment, we're all walking to Bavaria. So lockdown too, someone said, well, I got a bit down last time. They didn't work for us at the time. And I said, right, let's set a team challenge. We're like, shall we climb Everest? That's a bit far, but we can walk 800 miles to Munich. So we've got this brilliant app, and it just gets everyone out of the house every single day, whether they're running or cycling or walking. And we're getting there. We're ahead of the pacemaker at the moment, so we should finish ahead of time.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and I think becoming a B Corp is a really, really, hugely important element to all this. It's just a really nice way of pulling all these elements together. The team talk a lot about feeling very proud to do what we do. A lot of them have come from booze, and most of us moderators, there's only a few teetotalers in the team, but, feeling very proud to be able to give someone a genuinely delicious alternative to a beer if they want to, right? Or if they want an alcohol-free beer. So yeah, it's an amazing place, amazing team. Everyone on the bus is awesome. And it's fun. It fun.
Sounds wonderful. It sounds absolutely wonderful. And if, travel was permitted, I'd be over there to come and have lunch with you all and get to know you a little better, because you sound like a lovely bunch. So look, what's next for you guys? I mean, it's hard to know, isn't it? Because we don't know what next year holds, although there is light at the end of the tunnel by the looks of things, or by the sounds of things with these vaccines. What do the next 2 or 3 years look like for Lucky Saint?
We're still so early in the journey. We turned 2 in October.
Happy birthday, Lucky Saint.
Thank you. So there's an awfully long way. We're still pretty kind of London and Southeast biased, but we've just gone national with draft. We've just gone national in grocery distribution.
Right. So the growth trajectory is now going to go this way.
So yeah, more of the UK, and maybe we'll start thinking about a few international markets.
Fabulous.
And then people keep prodding me and talking about what's the next product going to be.
Yeah. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because do you need a next product when there's so much organic growth to be had just through distribution alone? National market, international market. Is it a stick to the knitting, or is it, no, you've got to innovate in any category in order to stay interesting?
Yeah, it's kind of a tough one, because what's been so powerful, I think, has just been doing one thing really well. Mm-hmm. And lager's the most dominant beer style in the world. So if there's a challenge to take on, then lager's definitely the biggest one. So that's been really powerful. But the flip side is we'd probably be we'd be a bigger business if we had 2 or 3 products, but we wouldn't have this kind of clarity of message and people understanding.
I suppose it must come back. It needs to come back to the consumer need, doesn't it? If I look at my beer drinking, I'd have a beer most nights, but it's the same beer every night. I don't swap around. Whereas I will swap around my chocolate bars, but I will always have the same beer. I will always buy the same bottle of white wine, unless I can't get it, because I know it delivers, and it's really important. That moment, it's really important that it delivers for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, and where can you go with beer? Not that, where can you go with alcohol beer? Maybe the level of alcohol is one way, which probably would be interesting, because I would like a little bit of a hit from my low alcohol lager. It has to be said, having 3 children, and particularly when they're at home in lockdown, you certainly need some kind of extra little buzz in the evening. And I will admit that freely. I'm sure many of you out there understand that need, but I don't want too much of a buzz, because that would just be seriously dangerous, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's the placebo effect, apparently. So if you have drunk before and you know what it feels like to drink, if you drink an alcohol-free beer, you should get that feeling. A lot of people do say, "Oh, that I felt good."
Yeah. Listen, I would love to have you guys back on the show middle of next year to find out where you've got to, because I think the really interesting story is just how quickly you guys are starting to scale, and the fact that you're still only London and the Southeast. Okay, I know that you've gone national recently on draft and with the Sainsbury's stores. There is so much organic growth to be had there. You've proven the need, you've proven the appeal, and now it's just about gobbling up all of those consumers and distribution points. Will you come back maybe after next summer and tell us where you've got to?
Love to.
Yeah, we'd love to.
That would be fabulous. Thank you so much for coming on, both of you, and agreeing to be. First, I was about to say threesome, but that would just be ridiculous. Three-way call, and second ever video. As I said to you before we started, no idea how I'm going to set this up in terms of YouTube channel, all the rest of it, but I will get it right and put it out on LinkedIn. But we'll be up on audio before then. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your insights. Luke, you should be so proud, not having had experience in beer or brewing before, to have got to spend those 2 years getting this product so right, and to have, had that moment of reflection where you realise that potentially the industry was going about it in an outdated way. Well done. I mean, kudos. And well done for finding Emma, because, it's not every day you come across somebody with a CV and leadership qualities as strong as someone like Emma Hill. So congratulations to you both for finding each other.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fiona.
Lovely to meet you, and see you soon. Have a great end to the week, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks so much, Fiona.
Bye-bye.
Bye.